On January 2, 2025, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu received a delegation of state governors at his Lagos residence, where they had come to pay him a formal homage. During the visit, President Tinubu delivered an important charge that highlighted the critical areas of governance that require attention across the nation. His remarks were a call to action for the state governors to prioritize the welfare of citizens while addressing national challenges with urgency. He emphasized his administration's focus on strengthening democratic processes and ensuring that resources are equitably distributed across all levels of government. The president specifically called for an overhaul of several key sectors that are crucial for national development. Underscoring the importance of local government autonomy, he urged the governors to take, bold steps to grant local governments their freedom to function independently, which would empower them to provide better services directly to citizens. The president also outlined the need for more targeted and impactful measures in the agricultural sector, noting that investing in agriculture would not only boost food security, but also create employment opportunities for millions of Nigerians. Similarly, the tax reform initiatives discussed aim to make the Nigerian economy more resilient by modernizing the tax system and improving revenue collection. Efficiency at both the state and local government levels. President Tinubu urged the governors to set aside political differences and work collaboratively to achieve a shared vision for prosperity for all Nigerians. His charge was a call for inclusivity, progress, and a deeper commitment to the welfare of the citizens. Well, the visit and the subsequent discourse were a significant step towards fostering stronger ties between the federal government and state administrations, with the hope that the governors will take proactive measures to meet expectations set out by the president in these key areas. These will form the focus of our conversation tonight. Thanks for joining us. I'm Ikaria Clinton, and welcome to Nigeria Today. With me in the studio for today's conversation is Wale Smart Oyerindi. He's the Director General, Nigeria Employers Consultative Association, NECA. It's good to have you in Nigeria today.
Thank you. Good evening and compliment of the season.
Thank you. And also with us in the studio is a public affairs analyst and a former commissioner in Adamawa State, Ahmed Sajo. You're welcome to Nigeria today.
Yeah, thank you very much.
It's always a pleasure to have you.
Yeah, the pleasure is always mine. I was on NTA during the crossover.
Oh. So, quite a lot of areas have been touched in this charge by the president to the governors. I want to have your view on all of these, on some of the issues before we try to pick them one after the other.
No, but there are three things that, very clearly, marked in the address the president delivered.
On the meeting the president had with their governors. Stay with us.
I'm committed again to do much better, work harder, embrace intellectual inclusiveness to serve our nation, and be more courageous in everything we do. And we are resolute, and we will be there. We will take Nigeria to that promised land. And the agricultural value chain will depend on all of you. You own the land. Whatever I'm doing in agriculture is just a mere help to stimulate food production. The job is in your hands. Just drive the development down there to the local government authorities. Nobody wants to take the control away from you. But collaboration collaboration. Let's do it together and make sure Nigeria is better off from it. There should be no state that we go to and not able to be proud of development. There shouldn't be.
Welcome back. That was the president talking to the governors. Yeah. Now, Sergio, you have the president, so you were about to say something.
There are three things that are very clear from all the things that happened. And the first one is that the president demonstrated that he's aware of what is going on in the country. He understands that, look, there's a point where he said, go and do all the work. Let me take all the attacks, insults, and things like that. That tells you that he's aware that despite the fact that he courageously took certain hard decisions that have increased the resources in the hands of governors, the attacks for all those decisions are to him. Nobody is directing anything to the governors, but the governors are the key beneficiaries of some of these decisions taken. Increased allocations, increased resources at their disposal. So that's number one. Number two, he understands, and that is key, that the only thing that can drive Nigeria's economy to success is productivity. Productivity, particularly in agriculture, and that's why he's mentioning about the agri value chain. And agriculture, we have said it here. One time I was with you here and I was telling you that the president does not have control over 1 inch of land. All the land in this country is vested in, by the Land Use Act, vested in the governors. So he's reminding them that if we succeed in driving agriculture as the very basis of our food security, of the basis of our economic development, it means that the governors have done very well in that. And then thirdly, he informed the governors in very clear terms that his interest in freeing the local governments from the shackles of a system that does not allow them to work for the people is in the interest of everybody, particularly the citizens of Nigeria. So these things are very clear in the address. And then the most important point he told them is that leadership requires courage. Courage to take hard decisions that are beyond political expediency. And I just hope that the governors, take that. And even the commentators, most people are concerned about the fact that the president said he's not fighting the governors. The president said, yes, he said he's not fighting the governors. But what did he tell the governors to go and do? I think we must start to drive the conversation around the increased productivity of our economy. Not just agriculture, but the entire economy of the country must progress so that we can. And he told them that if they are the ones that can drive the process of redeeming even the value of the naira, if we increase our productivity, if we rely less on imported goods and items, naturally our currency will also show up in value. So these are for me, those are the key takeaways in the interface between the president and the governors.
Thank you very much. Now, Wale, in the excerpt we just heard, the president was hammering on collaboration. Absolutely. Collaboration. How important is this? How important is it that we have collaboration between the state government and the federal government in trying to drive whatever change we want to see in this year, 2025?
Thank you for having us once again. Just to jump in before I go straight to the question, I think beyond speaking to the governors, I think the president is also speaking to Nigerians strategically. He's also engaging us. That probably for a long time we are focused on the wrong place. Everybody's looking at the center. Everybody's looking at the federal government. Everybody's looking at what is happening at the center. And we seem to have a blind spot to what the state should be doing. We seem to have forgotten that local government that they exist. So I think also beyond speaking to the governors, I think it's also strategically engaging us that look, moving forward into 2025 and beyond, we should keep our eyes also on what is happening at the state level, because directly and indirectly the allocations have improved. Directly and indirectly the states are a bit more prosperous. The awareness, and if you check also the list of governors we have currently, there seems to be a high level of awareness on knowing exactly what they should do within the context of the caliber. So it speaks to all of us as Nigerians, and speaking to the governors, that look, the time has come that we should all focus on exactly where we should focus on, which is probably the states and local government, where development actually should organically come from, not from top down, but from down up. Coming back to the issue of collaboration, for me, I think it's more of collaboration across board. I think for us, collaboration is going to be the next oil, because apparently we've seen that no nation can survive alone. No state can survive alone. In the context of regional collaboration, we have to deepen it. Cross-regional collaboration, we have to deepen it. Our options are limited, because you can't really address security within the state, because you have borders that moves into other states, and borders move into 2-3 states at the same time. So you have to collaborate to address the issue of security. Agriculture, you have to collaborate. We have states where we call the food basket. We have states where there is a potential for feeding this country on specifics. So for you to plant, for you to harvest, for you to transport, you still need a level of chain to drive all those issues. So I think collaboration at that sub-regional level is very, very important, so that development can actually have a development that is organic in nature, not the pyrrhic or fickle development that you have coming from top down. It should actually come from down top. That is why and how it can be sustainable long term.
Okay, now back to you, Sergio. You mentioned, of course, what the president said, that we are not fighting. I'm not fighting with you. We are not. There's nothing, going on. Of course, like you said, quite a lot of people are happy on that. Instead of, they didn't really want to look at what the discussion was about. Productivity, trying to increase productivity, trying to ensure that citizens are better off at the end of the day. Now, rather than now talking about the state governments or the state governors, rather than focusing on the local government autonomy, probably scare of giving them freedom, what should be their focus?
I think it's the focus should be at all levels, coordination and collaboration. Let's coordinate our development efforts. At present, we seem to be sometimes working at cross purposes, and that's what brings about all these, accusations of infighting and the rest. We should, if you noticed, during the negotiations for minimum wage, if you noticed, the private sector, as represented by NECA, went with one voice, even though some of the decisions were very painful for industry, but they took these decisions as a block. The trade union, both the TUC and the NUC, came and spoke with one voice, very strong voice, and agreed on whatever. It was at the level of government that some states, some subnational entities, some state governors were talking at cross purposes with the federal government. That is not to be. That when we're talking about the public sector, it's made up of government at all levels, federal, state, local government. They need to collaborate, coordinate, and of course ensure that they drive the policies that informs the direction the private sector goes to. Because look, all the policies, all the economic policies, all the land policies, all the fiscal policies, these are prerogatives of government. My brother here from NECA, no matter how they want a private sector system to function, they cannot fashion out a policy for the private sector. They have to ride on the policies that governments establish. When you talk about ease of doing business, you're not talking to NECA, you're not talking to labor, you're talking to government. They're the ones that can ease, and so this is where collaboration and cooperation is. Government, for example, is trying to push across a revision of the tax system such that we will eliminate a lot of multiple taxation. Some subnational entities are saying no, and they're making it look like it's a death sentence. Instead of, look, these are the areas where we think these are gray areas, paint them black or clean them, make them white. Let them be very clear. So we need a lot of collaboration, cooperation, coordination at all levels of governance. And most importantly, if you go outside of the major cities, capitals, if you go to the rural areas, the local government had ceased to exist long ago. Even the workers in the local governments do not go to work. Since this era of you send their salaries to their accounts and they see alert, they've even abandoned the local government secretariat. No, let's be honest. And now what the president is saying, look, let's make this local government work because they are the closest people, they are the closest to the citizens. If you want to improve primary health care, it's the local government. If you want to improve primary education, the quantum of primary education in the hands of even the state and the local government is very small. Most of it is in the local government. If you want to improve agriculture, the land mass of this country, though technically is in the hands of the governor, but the custodians of this land mass is the local government. So what the president is saying is that even if you want to set up an industry, that industrial complex must be located in a particular local government. Exactly. And the local government must make it conducive for the industrial complex to function very well. So all of it is that, look, let's make our municipal and local governments functional. Once they are functional, they are closer to the citizens. The citizens will begin to feel government. And when the citizens feel government, like the president said, all he is telling them is that go and restore hope. And that the best way to restore hope is to improve our productive capacity and to empower our local government to function.
Back to you, Wale. You know, having said quite a lot about the local government, let's look at what also the president talked about. You know, stability, the currency stability. Now, what role will the president, as the state governors or the state government play in ensuring the stability of the naira?
You know, it's a cause and effect situation, or I call it call and effect. Something makes something happen. And in simple economics, you know, for benefit of many of our viewers, in simple economics, if you produce what you eat, or significantly produce what you consume, and you don't import, you put less pressure on your naira. Your demand for dollars will be less, or any foreign currency will be less. And the simple principle of economics, demand and supply. The higher the demand, the higher the price. The lower the demand, the lower the price. So if at the local government level, you mentioned the issue of industrialization. If you have one industry or two industry per local government, we have 700 and something local government. If you multiply that by the number of local government, you have a substantial number of industries playing across the country. Now, if the productive capacity of this country, of our workers, of our system is high, our propensity to import will be less. And then the pressure for dollars will be less, which has a direct impact on the naira. So we won't be asking for much dollars, and that basically reduces the value of the dollar and also strengthens the naira. So it starts from that productivity. Everything rests and starts from productivity. If you are not productive in whatever context, whether from the context of your agricultural produce, whether from the context of industrialization, if you are not productive, then you will buy productivity from somewhere else. And because you have to purchase productivity from somewhere else, you are potentially going to use dollars, which will continually put pressure on your naira, and we bring naira to the current value that we currently have. So the solution really is get all Nigerians, get them productive. Productivity at the local government, as I said, unfortunately is almost at zero level. You know, at the state level, you know, during COVID, if you remember, most state governors said the workers from level 1 to 12 or 13 should work from home during the period of COVID. Then the question you ask yourself, are those workers, were they equipped to work from home? Do they really have computers? Is there power? Is there data to work from home? So if they are not really working from home, that means the system can actually survive without level 1 to 12. So basically everybody is latching on the allocation from Abuja. So which creates a big challenge for us. So we need to bridge that gap, and the strongest force to bridge that gap is at the local government and at the state governments, at the state government levels.
Okay, now let's go to the personality of the president. He said something. He said, "Look, we'll take the insult, you take the privileges." And also, he made another comment. He said, "We will not." Okay, we're talking about fighting within us. He said, "I will drive the change. You control your local government." Now, what does that tell of the personality of the president?
No. I think, like I said at the beginning, and I'm saying it again, that we have a president that understands exactly where he's heading to. He is in charge. It's not like he's been cocooned somewhere, does not even follow trends and does not know what is going on. He knows exactly what is going on. He knows the environment, he knows the system, he understands exactly where people are heading to. And so he now knows that, look, even as he drives the process of change, some of these change elements come with very painful outcomes. And people are bound to say, look, he is responsible for all our problems. And they're saying it. You know, they even label him certain labels that make... But the real resources that he was able to salvage through some of these painful decisions that he took, the changes that he has introduced within the system, the major beneficiaries are the subnational entities. And like the president said, no jokes. You go to every state capital now, you go and see, bridges and things springing up all over the place. They're working. They have resources with which to work.
They have more money now.
They have more money.
We talked about
that. Despite all the arguments about them not being able to pay the national minimum wage, a lot of the states are paying higher than what was agreed. Yes. So that tells you that he understands it very well. He understands the situation. The second thing that you spoke about is whether the president, what does he mean by you handle, I will do the reforms and you handle the local government. What he's trying to say is that, look, I will make sure that more money goes to the hands of the local government.
Okay.
The local government get more resources.
Okay, I will have to stop here.
Then you are to make sure that they work with those resources.
Okay, now I want to get your closing thoughts on this issue.
Well, I think it's a good way to start the year for the president. He has passed the charge to the governors, and he has also passed the charge to Nigerians that you should put less focus on the center, and let all of us make the subnationals, let's make them work. There lies the kind of development that we all desire. It happens from the local government, from the state governments, then to the national. It has to be organic for it to be sustainable.
Thank you very much. I have with me here public affairs analyst and former commissioner in Adamawa State, Ahmed Sajo. Thank you so much for your time and your contribution. And Wale Smart Oyerindi, Director General, Nigeria Employers Consultative Association, NECA. Thank you so much for your time and your thoughts. And thank you for being part of this program. Remember, Nigeria Today airs every weekday at 7:30 p.m. on NTA News 24. You can also check out this episode and others on www.youtube.com/NTA News 24 Hub. Once again, thank you for being there. I'm Ikaria Clinton. Goodbye.